Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Good evening and welcome back to Vernon Vibes. It's good to be with you. At the present time, there's a bit of a change in format coming about. For a short period of time, we may be recording Vernon Vibes once a month. So I'm going to try and broaden the time frame in which I talk to you about the issues I talk to you about and the time frame in which I mention it. So let's get right to it. I want to start this evening by pointing out to Vernonites that the Vernon Historical Society, once again this summer, will be offering its hands-on history course. And this particular program for students in grades 2, 3, and 4 has been a tremendous success in the past. This is, in fact, the fourth year that the Society is offering it. It's a 4-day program, and each day will have a different aspect of life in Vernon Township taught to the children hands-on. For example, Monday the 17th, the children will learn about doing chores around the home in the 19th century, and they'll learn how clothes had to be scrubbed and hung on the line, and they'll learn how to make braided rugs and things of that sort. And then on Tuesday, the lessons will be devoted to planting and learning how food was dried and kept. Wednesday, live farm animal day, and Thursday, back to school day, where they can spend a day in the one-room schoolhouse on Price's Switch Road. This program has won awards, and for those parents who have children in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grade, I highly recommend it. The class size is limited to 25 per day. The cost is $15 per child per day, and your child can sign up for 1 day, 2, 3, or 4. That's up to you. But for a really exciting program this summer for your youngsters, this is one I'd recommend. You can get all the information that you need on the hands-on history program at vernonhistoricalsociety@gmail.com. All the information I've shared with you is available there. Please don't hesitate to access it on their website. It's a tremendous program, and I highly recommend it to you and to your children. A little closer to the date, a bit of bittersweet news. The local consignment boutique that was functioning, as a matter of fact, in McAfee at the what was the old Vernon Colonial Plaza has decided to close. Dr. Tim Bingaman and his wife Jean have owned and operated this for almost a decade, and frankly, Dr. Bingaman and his wife at this point in time have decided to cut their activities back, and so the shop is actually closed at this point in time, but there are 3 days, June 11th, June 12th, and June 13th, where they will be at the shop, and anything that's there that is purchased, 100% of the proceeds will be donated to the Vernon Animal Shelter and the American Colorectal Cancer Society. So if you'd like to help Dr. Bingaman and his wife and at the same time donate to the Vernon Animal Shelter, as well as the American Cancer Society, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th at the shop in the Colonial Plaza on Route 94. Stop by. You may find yourself picking up some real deals and at the same time helping a lot of people. The Bingaman family has always been very generous in their time and their professional services to the Vernon Animal Shelter, and we in turn would like to help them at this point in time. So keep it in mind, stop by, everybody benefits. The last thing I would like to share with you on the calendar of events is the 13th annual John Kukula Memorial Scholarship Golf Open. Now, as I talk to you, the golf is actually sold out. So you're saying, well, Mayor, why are you talking to me about it? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is a cause that helps literally dozens of Vernon school children who are headed for college, as well as the same in Garfield. John Kukula, who lived in Vernon most of his adult life, was in fact a teacher in the Garfield school system, and he was well known throughout Bergen County as the football coach at Garfield High. He touched literally thousands of lives, and many of you know his widow, Andrea, better known as Bunny, has been a part of our community and was just recently recognized as one of the selections of Senior of the Year, along with Charlie McSpirit. Now, that's a heck of an honor. This golf outing, which is scheduled for June 26th, that's a Friday, to begin at 12:30 p.m., also has the ability for you to participate by attending the dinner. Information is available still, and if you would, I'm going to ask my producers to put that up on the screen at the end of this, or during or at the end of this particular presentation. So the John Kukula Memorial Scholarship Golf Outing is coming up. Let's all help. Let's all support. It's good work for our young people. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Welcome back. I'd like to take this time to kind of recap for you some of the things we talked about in the last Vernon Vibes edition and some of the things that have happened since we've been on the air. First of all, I want to thank the Vernon Township Council for its action concerning funding for the Lake Wallkill repair project. I can tell you categorically at this point in time that the funding is in place, and before this year is out, before the snow flies, the reclamation of 2/3 of Lake Wallkill Road will be completed. Now, folks, those of you who use the road, this is not going to be a simple milling and repaving situation. We are going to, in fact, have to reclaim the entire road base that is there, the asphalt that's there, and we're going to use it as a sub-base. Why am I telling you that? Because we are going to have delays in traffic, and we may have some days, hopefully not many, where the road, sections of the road may have to be closed. When we get to that point, please remember tonight's Vernon Vibes, because you know that there was a tremendous amount of effort that went into securing the financing for this project. I thank the town council. I thank Senator Steve Oroho and Assemblywoman Allison McCose and Assemblyman Parker Space for their part in helping to get a grant from the New Jersey DOT, which helped offset some of the cost of this. But I'm happy to announce that project will happen this year before the snow flies. I hope you're as happy about it as I am. In addition, in that same package of financing that the council approved, we have appropriated the money to actually construct a new salt shed for storage here on the DPW property in Vernon Town Center. We will be able to store 6,000 tons of salt in that shed. It too should be built before the winter sets in, although we at the present time are drawing up the specs and the bids will be going out, and it may very well be that it'll be late this year by the time we're finished. But that's all right, because frankly, it will allow us to do what we need to do to be sure that we have on hand at all times the salt that's necessary to take care of our roads during the kinds of winters we've had these past 2 years. Those are two of the really big positive things for 2015. However, there is an issue I'm going to talk to you about that has been frustrating for you and for me. You may recall that during 2014, the council and I put together a financing package that allowed us to order a new street sweeper, and we did that. And the street sweeper was delivered to us, and as it turned out, it wasn't capable of handling the job. And you say, well, how could that happen? Most of those kinds of trucks are built for long, straight, flat use, not the kinds of 17% inclines and the like that we have here. And so to make a long story short, the initial truck that was delivered to us had to be returned to the manufacturer. And that set us back in terms of speccing out a new truck that would do the work that we needed to do. We've done that. The order was put in almost 10 months ago. We anticipated that second new sweeper truck being in-house here sometime in late February, early March. We have not received it yet. That's not unusual in the world we live in today. Manufacturers of this kind of equipment don't leave the parts sitting on the shelf, okay? I'm not making excuses, it's fact. However, a month ago, we began to rent a private sweeper with an operator from the Earth Tech Corporation here in Vernon, and they have been sweeping the roads since the beginning of May. Normally, we start that process in March, and certainly no later than April 1st. We didn't get started until the beginning of May, which pushes the whole project back. I want you to know every day, and until the street sweeping is done, every day, there will be that rented street sweeper on the street until we receive our own. I apologize for the delay. I'm well aware of the communications that we've received here in this office as well as in the DPW. We're doing the best that we can with a situation that we really couldn't control. I'm not making it as an excuse, but I just want to let you know it's not that our DPW is sloughing off. They're doing a good job with what they have to work with. So I just wanted to share with you, and we are moving to address it and take care of it. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Welcome back. I want to take a minute now, if I may, to share with you what it was like to take part in Vernon Day on June 7th. This year's Vernon Day was the biggest and absolutely the best that I have seen in the 38 years now that I've lived in Vernon Township. The job that was done by Missy Weedbrock and her assistant Michelle Downtain and all of the other volunteers, and it was dozens of them, put together a show for Vernon residents, and you came out. I am so pleased, and I want to take a moment to thank each and every Vernon resident who participated in Vernon Day from either side of the equation. I can tell you that this year we had 169 runners in the 5K and 1 mile walk in the morning. We had 93 vendors or exhibitors. Last year we had 68. That's a tremendous growth. But more importantly than all of that, because in those exhibitors were civic groups, scout troops, every aspect of Vernon life, as well as business people with wares to show and to sell. Having said all of that, as near as we could figure, close to 2,000 people this year attended Vernon Day. Where did that number come from? Frankly, I counted all the cars that were parked and multiplied by 3, because as any of you who know were there were 2 grumbles about Vernon Day, and both of them are legitimate, and I want to address them. Number one, parking. For the kind of turnout, which was wonderful, our 360 parking spaces at the Maple Grange Park are not enough. And if you were there, you know that we opened up the area adjacent to the new basketball court that we constructed last year. Ultimately, we planned for that to be a parking area, and above that also, because when we have events like Vernon Day, and there'll be more of them in the future, the participation by Vernon residents seems to be very, very, very active, and I think that's great. So I want to thank you all who came out, and I thank you for putting up with the parking situation. It happens. We had no way of knowing that we were going to be that successful. We're happy for it. And I'm also told that there were some who were upset that the vendors ran out of food. I can understand that, but in all honesty, that's a good thing. That's a reflection of the number of people that were there and that were enjoying the food. So next year, I'm sure all the vendors will attempt to do better. But in the meantime, it was a huge success. The planning and the implementation and the execution was the work of many people, the DPW department, the police department, obviously led by the Recreation and Community Development Department, the schools. We had such great support from Vernon Township high school students who were fulfilling their requirement for community service. I want to thank each and every one of them for the work that they did on Sunday at Vernon Day. Without your help, we could not have done it. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Welcome back. I want to take a minute now, if I may, to talk to you about another issue which has implications for Vernon Township in a very big way, and it relates to, in fact, the most recent primary election that took place in Sussex County. I'm sure that many of you know that the results of the Republican primary resulted in the loss of a freeholder seat by Dennis Mudrick, who was a supporter of the settlement agreement concerning the solar panel debacle that this county is now in. His running mate, Gary Larson, both of them are fine gentlemen, were beaten soundly, and they were beaten soundly simply because of this one issue. And I want to speak to the people of Vernon about it now. I was careful not to address it prior to the election for lots of reasons, most of which everybody has the right to present their position and to be heard. But the people have spoken now. And the people that had gone to the polls have said, we don't like the settlement. It is not in our best interest. And this freeholder board should move to cease and desist in expending any more money on this issue until the investigations that are going on by the federal and state attorney generals are completed. Why am I speaking about it? Vernon residents, our township generates 20% of the total revenue collected on property tax for Sussex County. 20%. We do not have a solar panel project in Vernon. As a matter of fact, our school board is engaging in one on their own. And when this office was contacted and our school board was contacted, both told the people from Morris County Industrial Commission that we were not interested in their program, and if we decided to do solar, we were perfectly capable of doing it on our own. Thank you, Lord, for that guidance, because frankly, this is an absolute fiasco. And at the present time, we, Vernon residents, are responsible for paying back 20% of what at present is $22.5 million, could be as high as $33 million before this is all done. And we didn't get a vote, and we didn't have a say, and I know that there are other communities that feel the same way. This freeholder board and the ones before it who chose to get involved in this project made a huge blunder, and unless they make it right and they do it quickly, I believe they'll all be turned out of office. We are paying 20% of that money. Let me convert it for you so you understand, Vernon residents. It accounts to about $500,000 to $525,000 a year would be our share of the payment. Now, you know, this office and this town council has worked very hard for the last 4 years to keep your property taxes from going up. And we saved a penny one year and 2 pennies and then 2 pennies, and this year a flat tax rate. That one decision by the freeholder board and the fiasco that followed will wipe out those savings and, in fact, increase your property taxes almost fourfold our savings. That's right. $525,000 is close to 2.5 to 3 tax points, okay, depending on where the assessments come out. It's a lot of money. And I don't know about you, but I sure don't like sending more money over there that doesn't need to be sent, money that shouldn't have been spent. And I do believe that as we go down the road, this issue is going to be a hot one because there's a lot of things that haven't come out yet. The attorney generals are not investigating because they have nothing to do, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. I'll be back in a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Welcome back. You know, when I get to thinking about the things that impact on us and the issues that we face, they're myriad. There's lots of them. The next issue that I'm going to talk to you about is one that resulted in a previous program that I put together being taken from the air. And I have been quiet, and I have been patient, but I have not forgotten the issue of the Sussex County Community College and its mismanagement. And that's the right word for it, mismanagement. I wrote recently in the New Jersey Herald that if the chairman of the Board of Trustees and the majority of the trustees of the Sussex County Community College at this point in time were subject to election, they'd suffer the same fate as Dennis Mudrick. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we recently, right after graduation, were informed by the Board of Trustees that they were laying off 11 employees, many of them who have been the backbone of this college. In the Herald 2 days ago, a letter from the Federation representing all of the professional staff and teaching staff at the Sussex Community College made it public that they were willing and had expressed a willingness to, in fact, make changes so that the $500,000 shortfall that was wiping out these 11 jobs would, in fact, go away. They were willing to take cuts in pay or whatever it was they were willing to offer. But think about that. Because while 11 people are being laid off by the county college, one of whom has been there and has been the one communicator with the school districts that the college serves and done it successfully, okay, being put out to pasture after all these years, and at the same time, we're spending somewhere between $3 and $4 million on new software, and we're spending somewhere around $2 to $4 million to fix up Building D. Here's a message for the Board of Trustees. When your focus is on spending money on bricks and mortar and software to the absolute deleterious effect on people, your priorities are wrong. Wrong. This issue will not go away, and I won't go away, because if you people don't start behaving in a manner that will help build the college rather than destroy the college, we may not have one. It's important, people. Pay attention to this one. Thank you, and good night.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.